All right, you guys, this is Gangsta Holistic, how I got gangster with my health. And we have a special guest today. This is one of my brothers from another, Brother Marquis. He's a part of the African Restoration Project down at Shades of Africa in Long Beach. I had to get the brother on the show. I've been looking on the ground, and the brother been looking good. You know what I'm saying? The brother been slimmed down and doing some things different. So I had to, get him on the show to kind of get his take and kind of pick his brain on how we got gangster with his health. So welcome to the show, Marquis.
Thank you.
All right. So before we start the show, just tell the people a little bit about what you do down at ARP in Long Beach.
So we have a study group in Long Beach called the African Restoration Project, as you just said, at Shades of Africa. And we meet every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. And we might watch a documentary one night, then have group discussion after, or we might have a presentation on our history, connecting us back to our ancient history. We might have a lesson on how to build your credit or about real estate. So we teach about different things, sexual trauma, healing from sexual trauma, politics. Sometimes we just get in a circle and talk amongst ourselves about solutions for the issues that we're dealing with as a people.
Right. And let me ask you, how long have you guys been having that going down there in Long Beach?
I've been involved for about going on 3 years now. The study group itself has been around for a few decades. Decades.
Right. And shout out to Renee. She's doing a great job down there. Everybody at Shades of Africa. Hey, we love what you guys do for the community. Straight up, we do. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's hop on into it, brother. Okay, because just like you from the hood, I'm from the hood too. Okay. So I know what it was like. See, I was a brother. I used to work nights for a number of years. So on the weekends, when I get off work in the morning, I go home, get on my little thing for a second. When it hit like the early afternoon, I'm straight to the homie's house, and we got Louis burgers over here, we got this over here, right? So I mean, that's kind of like what it was for me, man. Kind of describe like how you grew up, as far as eating and things like that, what you were accustomed to.
I would say the common average diet that our people eat, the soul food, the fast food. A lot of meat, a lot of dairy, a lot of junk, a lot of soda. For most of my life, until around 19 or 20, I met somebody.
Tell the people how old you are, Marquis.
31.
Okay.
So I'm 31 now. So around 19, when I was 19, I met a guy that went to Cal State Long Beach, and I asked him if he could give me a list of people I could YouTube or Google and just study up on, people who were teaching what we would consider conscious teachings. Okay. And one of the names he gave me was Dr. Sebi.
There it is.
So I YouTube Dr. Sebi. He also gave me Phil Valentine, Dr. Africa, a couple other people, but I started watching their videos on health, and I spent hours, probably within a week or two, just hours on YouTube watching these videos, researching the stuff they were talking about. And even then, it didn't really click because I was still fully eating how I was eating. Right. But after a while, eventually later on down the line, I would say my first attempt to go without meat or dairy was about 3 or 4 years ago. So, that's a big gap between from 19 until 3 or 4 years ago for me to be studying that stuff and still not want to try it. So I tried it. And of course, it was a few failed attempts, a lot of failed attempts.
Right.
And then it got to the point to where the longest I went is 6 months. Even right now, I'm backsliding, because I will say to do this, you really have to be prepared.
You do.
You have to be fully dedicated. You have to be consistent and just really have it in your mind that this is what you want to do. This is what you're going to do at the end of the day.
Right. Okay, well, I totally agree. As far as like preparation, I talk about that a lot on the podcast. As far as like if you don't have a plan, especially when you talk about eating right, like if you don't have a plan and you don't plan ahead, a lot of times it's very easy to kind of like fall off of whatever your regimen is. You know?
Right.
Okay. Now, well, you kind of got the knowledge in kind of very young, because I didn't have the knowledge at 19. But just like you said, that's another thing we speak about, is the difference between knowledge and wisdom, as far as applying, what you know. I spoke about that on a video that I did a couple days ago, on how for years I've done, this radio show that revolved around health and all of these conscious topics, right? But it wasn't until years later when I actually got sick that I had to start kind of applying that stuff, and that's where the wisdom came in.
Right.
So in eating right, this is one thing that I say too, is like you got to be mentally focused. So sometimes we have to act our way into the right thinking versus thinking this is how we need to act. We need to just kind of like jump right into it, you know what I mean? Or, get our minds focused to get on that path. So talk a little bit about how important it was for you to maybe ground yourself spiritually and make sure that you were intact as far as your mental, in order to achieve certain goals that you have. So how many pounds are you down right now? Tell the people.
Okay, so April 17th of this year, I weighed 200 and trying to remember, I took multiple pictures. The day I took the olive oil clean, I think I was 247 pounds.
Okay.
And to date, I'm at right now, like I said, I've been backsliding. I got the lowest. So after April 17th, the lowest I got was 207.
Wow. So you lost 40
pounds.
Right.
Yeah. So because I've been messing up and doing, stuff I shouldn't be doing, I'm at 215 right now.
Okay. Not bad.
But it's like, I ain't gonna sit here and just, fake it till I make it. People need to understand it is a process. It is a struggle sometimes, because this is 28, 29 years of eating the same stuff. Right. And as humans, the two most innate natures that we have as humans is to eat and to reproduce. Those are two innate things that nobody has to teach us how to chew. When Correct. A baby comes out the womb, it knows how to supple on the nipple of the mother. It automatically knows that. Animals, when they're born, the same thing. Or even when it comes to reproducing, something in our nature, we're innate to know how to reproduce, just like animals. A lot of animals don't see their parents reproduce. It's something in them. Right. So two of the hardest things to stop for humans, I believe, is a certain eating habit and to reproduce. So, it's not easy. And that's why I have so much respect for people who do go on the vegan journey and they stick to it, and they get to that point to where it's like, I haven't had meat or dairy for 5, 10, whatever years, right. Because me personally, I want to hear from the people who went through the struggle, not the people who woke up one day, so I'm never eating meat and dairy again, and they never ate meat and dairy again.
Now, let me say this. That's interesting that you say that, because that was kind of like my next question. My boy Art of Hustle YC, shout out to Art of Hustle YC. Okay. One thing that I paid attention to that he said in the past, he said that, when you're trying to transition to a vegan diet, most of the time it's not cold turkey. And if you're trying to do it that way, most of the time you'll fail. He said the best way to do it is just to take little steps. You understand what I'm saying? Take little steps,